Greetings, internet drinking buddies. My name is Link, the show's name is Tubbin and Chuggin, and on this episode I'll be imbibing Romana Sambvca. Welcome back to the tub, everybody. Now, as our last episode featured a Greek aperitif, or before-dinner liqueur, I thought it'd be only natural to follow it up with a Roman digestive, or an after-dinner liqueur. See, because Greek came before Rome. Greek, no, I think it's fun. Just cut to the people. Romana Sambvca is the most popular Sambvca brand in the United States. It comes from Roma, obviously, where it's been made since about 1903 by the parent brand Sazerac and is imported to the States by Paddington Limited. It comes in at 42% alcohol by volume, just a touch above that magic 40. It'll run you about $30 a fifth, which translates to about $1.90 a drink. At most liquor stores, you can be able to find it there. You might be able to also find it at an Italian grocer if you have one of those near you. So what is Sambvca? Well, similar to the Ouzo that we looked at last time, it's also an anise-based drink, but it leans more into the berries as opposed to that mastic or resin from the Ouzo. The name comes from the Latin Sambucus, which means elderberry, which you can find mixed into many different brands of Sambuca. Now, I became familiar with these Italian digestifs on my trip to Italia in 2015. A Verno or a Limoncello were probably my go-tos then, but I eventually stumbled across Sambucas, this brand in particular, back here in the States, and I've enjoyed it at a dinner party or two, but I can't say I've ever bought a bottle of myself before this here episode. Again, like Ouzo, if you mix it with water, you get that milky-like transformation, so it's best to drink it on the rocks or in that fashion, just mixed with water. It's also very common to drink it with coffee beans, either with 7 for the 7 Hills of Rome, or if you're drinking alone, just the solitary bean, or 3 if you're toasting, as it represents health, happiness, and prosperity for those 3 beans, which I think is kind of fun. And I sadly don't have any coffee beans with me today, so I'll just be sipping it out of the obvious choice of Roma chocolates. So with that out of the way, let's get to the toast, which is named after the Romans. They used to place a piece of toast, burnt toast, into their wine, which is kind of like an ancient day oaking process for the wines. They then do a well-wish towards the emperor or maybe the guest of honor for the party. So with that sort of traditional honor, Emperor Trajan, Optimus Trajan. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, this is more of a kind of hit you over the head drink. There's nothing really subtle about this. I'm taking these baby sips, man, and it's just full licorice, a little bit of berry, like a very tiny little bit of berry, mainly just a licorice assault on the taste buds. Starts at the beginning, doesn't go anywhere else. Comes down the throat. It's a consistent taste throughout. Just you get hit with the licorice stays, licorice is still there. You feel it go down the throat. You feel it still in the tongue while it's going down the throat. It's coming at you. But again, in like a lighter, a tropical Mediterranean kind of feel, not a making you cozy, making you, like warming up with this on like a cold night. Now, this is definitely something that, it's a hot July night. You just had a great pasta out on the streets of Roma, and you get one of these after the meal, and you're sipping it. It's still like 75 outside, or whatever that would be in non-freedom units, 20 degrees Celsius. Hey, but it's hot, it's warm, it's an Italian night. You have one of these, and you just very, very nice. Where I think it would differ from something like the Ouzo that we had before is that it's more of a, it's a consistent kind of feeling. There's not much in the way of complexity to the taste profile. Like I said, you get hit with the flavor immediately and just kind of stays with you. It doesn't change it up throughout the process at all. It's just kind of there the whole time. But in a way where the licorice is definitely like slightly flavored, if that makes sense, by a berry. It's not, there's no like coarseness to it. It just feels more like summery, more like light. Yeah. Overall, I can't really think of anything I'd do differently for a type of beverage like this. Like if you wanted to, you could probably make it more like a more of a berry kind of focus into like a blueberry or an elderberry kind of thing, where it hits you more than the licorice does. But I would imagine most people get this for that licorice taste, and I just can't imagine them wanting to change that in any real regard. No. Still the same, doesn't matter how much of it you drink, just all licorice all the time. Another really fun product to have. Again, we talked about how, you have, this one is meant to be a digestive, you're meant to drink it sort of after a meal. I can definitely see you opening a meal with this, for sure. It doesn't really feel like it has to be drank after a meal, but it does ruin our nice little Greek-Roman analogy we had before. But I think you could have this before a meal, after a meal. This is the same kind of deal where I feel like this is a drink that you have around to serve to people when you're hosting, you're having a dinner party of some kind, and you're drinking like a nice bottle of wine during the meal, but before or after, you get this like appetizer, sort of like palate cleanser type thing, just to get everybody in the mindset of the meal, or to wrap up the meal before like a dessert or something like that. Really just kind of clear it out while maintaining that high alcoholic volume in a taste factor that's good. That's the thing we talked about, is that this is more expensive than most other things you could find in its alcohol by volume bracket, unless you're really like spending. This is obviously another import, but it's still pretty high for what it is, almost $2 a drink for where you can typically find it. So whether or not that's worth it to you depends, A, how much do you like licorice, B, how much do you appreciate a product that is almost trying to steer your taste buds along a meal as opposed to just being something you drink on its own. That's where the value would come in. For me, I definitely see it filling a niche in my like sort of large liquor cabinet. But if you're just the kind of person who's just like, well, I want, an alcohol to get me drunk and taste good, this is a niche product that if you can find a shot of it, like a little shot bottle, definitely give it a try, give it a sip during a meal and see if you like that kind of thing, because you would have to make a relatively large financial investment on it. Worth it to me, that's why it gets a recommendation from me. But if you can find it, because it's so different, again, I'd recommend trying to find a shot bottle of it. This one you might be able to find more so than like an Ozo, more of a specialty product, but give it a go. I really do enjoy it. As always, if you like these kind of sort of off-the-wall liqueurs that are definitely like they have to be imported kind of thing from around the world, I enjoy these a lot. Let me know if there's a specific one you'd like to see me review, and as always, please drink responsibly.